What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. I hope you guys are having a good week. I'll tell you, um, it's been a little break even, being frustrated. Today I just laughed. Today I had a pretty good day. I caught a good move off Tesla. Nothing too crazy. The range is amazing on that one right now. But for small cap land for me, it's been, the pennies. I had a shift, right? The pennies weren't really working out Monday, Tuesday. And then all of a sudden low floats were cranking and I wasn't trading them. So then today I was like, I'm gonna focus on low floats. VRPX was great. LGVN I just wasn't gonna trade. I caught VRPX this morning, basically off this pre-market setup right here. There's a nice 75k bidder or a 70k bidder around roughly came in right here. So I started to soak this, and then I soaked this, and this ended up being a nice pre-market clear out, and then it ended up holding. I did scalp this though. It was very weird. Me shifting from trading pennies and accumulating and looking for these big range, these big gap fills. I scalped this one, and then I focused on this one again into open. I actually missed the move to three bucks because I was looking at some other names and I didn't, I like to soak. So it's very hard for me just to immediately slap something as it's going up, right? I don't really like doing that. And then I missed this drastic quick swipe down pullback right here, and I'm thinking, 245s to almost 340s right there. Yeah, I can't size into this, but if I grab a couple 2,500 lots, and then catch that move, that's still a very nice win, right? So, I have to adjust how I'm looking at these somewhat. I did focus on this rotation. When this failed to break down, this is when I started soaking this play. So I was able to soak this play. I didn't size in too crazy in this, but I did catch a nice rotation back up to $3. And then I started focusing on this even more to see if this was going to squeeze. I saw this daily right here, and it reminded me of that ATNF or recent RS cranks. Vin, hold on, I'm doing a video. Um, I thought that this was gonna do ATNF or AFTN, sorry. Oh, hey. Here we go. I thought potentially that we were gonna have this type of setup, so I started getting FOMO, and I was like, well, I don't want to miss the next one, right? I don't want to miss something like this, so I thought maybe this was gonna fill this gap. I thought VRPX was gonna potentially fill this type of gap, right? So it's okay. Totally wrong, right? This didn't have a gap up. This started getting volume later, um, around 11 a.m. So there's different concepts and things that I needed to adjust my trading, which is okay. Between VRPX though, catching that morning move in that rotation, I scalped today. It's crazy. Yeah, I scalped this new high day push right here. I got 50 cents. I did scale a lot into this pre-market new high break because once this started to stall right here, especially on the book, right here, once a lot of volume started pushing through this, right, a seller got absorbed, right, buyers got absorbed up here. They took this off route and they started to consolidate. I was like, let me just take this. Like, let me start scaling out. And then eventually, when this put in a lower high, I was like, no. I started scaling out, and I got out pretty much all the shares. Only took 8K that time off 170s down there. Once we saw this nice bidder, that was really nice. Once this bidder came, I was able to have a little more confidence, and my risk wasn't. It was a low risk play, so good R play. But unfortunately, it didn't squeeze out. It was 30%, so I will take 30%. Absolutely good return. And then I played the backside rotation. You know, um, I definitely had some adjusting and learning to do. I've been studying like crazy. That's why I haven't been really putting out any content because I'm trying to adjust and see. And then of course today, um, just gotta laugh about it, right? KZ KZIA. All right. Of course, I missed this beautiful, huge 300 over 360% return penny. Wow, what a miss. So on Monday and Tuesday, I'm focused on pennies, and for me, I couldn't catch them because there wasn't a lot of volume in this, and pennies Monday and Tuesday. Of course, today, this soak setup right here had about 50 something million when it was sitting down here at lows, and this is a really nice daily to me. All right, a lot of sideways action, some lower highs to get over right here, and it flags above it, and I completely missed this train. I was on the wrong one, right? So VRPX, if you saw that time frame I showed you in the beginning, I didn't catch any of these reads right here, right? It's actually flagged on the one, right? I was looking for a rotation. If you see in my other videos, right, I always talk about trying to find the one that has the most potential to the upside. And this was definitely it, right? There's a huge room to fill in this if it started cranking and getting over some key levels, right? 50 cents, 48s is really big. And after that, there's a small little window gap right here in the daily, okay? Right here. And then after that, this is a lot of late volume kind of stuff, and this was cranking. So I had to definitely get better. Had 7.2 on the day. A chunk of that from Tesla, and then the rest is pretty much VRPX, right? But definitely, I just couldn't believe I missed this one, but it's okay. There's a lot of great things to learn off this one. This one was amazing. This KZIA penny, it's okay. This was a great control down here, guys. And then that 40 setup. Okay, there's a couple really great setups on this one. Complete miss for me. But this is a nice controlled walk down. They pulled these offers. Buyers started to step up right here. And then a huge seller gets absorbed and there's just no follow through. Now, mind you, if you saw that daily, right? If you see this daily, we're so bottomed out that if this was going to get heavy with all that volume, you would see it crack. It would crack these levels right here, this sideways consolidation flat top. So that didn't happen. A huge seller gets absorbed right here, right? 200,000 shares. It does not break down. Sellers get exhausted. All right, and then buyers re-step up at key levels where they were playing games, and this started to squeeze. Okay, does a nice micro. This is that flag also. Of course, same time frame as VRPX, which is a miss. You're on the wrong one. You're on the wrong one. It happens, right? Blasts through this liquidity, and then you have this other flag setup right here. All right, this was that 5-minute flag setup that you saw right here. Nice lower volume pullback right here over pre-market highs, and then it cranked and never pulled back. All right, it actually halted right here. For a penny to halt, it just means it's cranking. All right, so that was a really great setup. Filled a lot of its gap. That's it. I didn't. LGVN was another one that I was watching, of course, but again, it's very important on the long side, guys, to. It's very important on the long side just to remember where we're trading. This is gapped up so much already. Yes, maybe it has potential to crank to the 200s. But again, once it started to sell off, I completely wrote that one off. But then I focused on VRPX and let that penny runner go. But that's okay. My Tesla trade was actually really phenomenal. A lot of these things that I learned, book reads, guys, are from reading large caps. I caught this short up here. This was a micro clear out, and I was waiting for Tesla to just get exhausted, right, and give a nice pullback. So now, Tesla has so much range, right? It's very volatile right now, right? It's cranking, so it's giving out a lot of points per day. That particular short, and this may or may not make sense to people if they don't have the book. For me, I watched Tesla for multiple days while I was running. So once I saw that daily level and looked for a micro clear out to see if this was going to catch, Tesla did not have a lot of bid support like it was those other days. that thing had bids. When I say bids, 10, 20, 30K bidders show up on the book over and over and over again. So when I saw, I waited. I always like to wait. When I see big magnets on, I almost caught my tongue. When I see big magnets on Tesla, I like to see what happens after the liquidity swipes it. And then right here too, when it failed to break out, this is when I started to enter my short on that one. So that was a great trade for me. They throw in some offers right here once it starts to pull back down, and the book stayed heavy on that one. Oops, sorry, right here. Just waiting for this thing to load. My average on that one for my Tesla short was really nice on that one. I had a 265.42s on that one. This is why I shorted this right here. Once this thing removed this liquidity right here and started to pull back, and I saw it no follow through, typically this would pull back. They didn't have a lot of bidders on this, and maybe we would retest these areas and fail. But I really like to see when things start to pull in offers, once things start to pull back and there's no bids. So this thing actually came down all the way back down. My computer is lagging right now. We have a storm. It's pouring right now. Pretty crazy. So this thing definitely pulled back and really just looked for all that liquidity back to the downside, and then all these offers were coming, and that's really nice. That's the one I want to see. Tesla did not do this when it was cranking out on these days right here. All right. In fact, it was doing the opposite. It was cranking out. It was removing liquidity off the books, pulling back, and then bouncing off previous areas of interest. Right. I talk about that a lot in these, and when I trade these small caps, that's why. A lot of these concepts that I learned from how liquidity is being moved is from the largies, and I implement them and incorporate them into the smallies, right? It just happens really fast. They're really volatile. So that's all I got, guys, today. Nothing too crazy. I need to adjust a little more. The penny mania beforehand was phenomenal for me. It was a really big, definitely made my year already. So I need to adjust into biggest things, right, is identifying volume, structure, and then seeing soak volume. What names has increasing volume that's not breaking down, that has a lot of range to fill, right? And then identifying like, okay, VRPX, got to be mindful. JRET taught me something really well, and I'm going to mention this here. You're going to have this SNGX Black Swan low floater that just went bananas, right? And this typically doesn't happen a lot. So then now we have these other names coming in, gapping up, cranking, and it just creates an opportunity to sell off and FOMO and stuff like that, and it got me on the tail end. Yeah, I was green, but I scalped, and I don't really like to do that too much anymore, because then you miss something like KZIA gives over 300%, and it's like, wow, that's where the money is, right? But other than that, that's all I got, guys. So just be mindful. So, again, yeah, Jarrett was telling me, just be mindful because you get sometimes this big runner, and then the next day you have all these gappers popping up that are gapped up a lot. And VRPX, how much more is it going to go, right? LGVN, how much more is it going to go daily wise perspective? We're gapping up, we're opening up really, really high. How much more are these going to go? Yeah, 20, 30% scalps is nice out of them. Not by any means. I'm happy with that. But then again, there could be better things to focus on. I think that's why I got frustrated today, and I laughed it off. It's just because just want to get better, right? Get better at adjusting the focus and knowing when to be like, leave this one. Don't waste your time, because sometimes you have that window of opportunity to soak something and get a read, and if you waste it on something else for too long, it's like it could be frustrating, because it's like you drained your mental for 45 minutes to an hour trying to watch, see if this is going to soak, and then you have another name that's actually soaking, but you learn, right? We win or we learn, we get better. All right, guys, much love. Peace out, Mikey.